I think it was probably where we reviewed the bike ownership, the level of bike ownership in Blackpool, and I suppose we fundamentally reviewed how we were approaching the programme and simply couldn't assume that by trying to sell what we were trying to sell as cycling would necessarily be accepted by people or even seen as something that they could participate in. As for the reasons I've already mentioned, there's huge levels of deprivation, so lots of people unable to afford a bike. And so the Cycle Hire scheme was one good way that would help that. But other elements that we've worked on are a bike recycling scheme where we've sold in the last 6 months in excess of 250 bikes in Blackpool, very, very cheaply, all of them donated for free by Blackpool residents. And we've refurbished them, made them safe, provided them with lights and so on, and sold them on at a very, very minimum cost. And that's simply allowing a new generation of people to get on bikes, and also probably people who would never have considered themselves as even potential cyclists in the past. And I think just that fundamental shift there of almost assuming that everybody wanted to cycle if only the cycle lanes and so on were provided for them, almost taking a step back and saying, well, what is actually the barrier to getting people onto that bike in the first place? Why don't more people get out and ride their bikes? And really looking at the bike ownership issue has been a big one for us.
The really important thing that we've ended up doing a lot of is offering Dr. Bike. There's so many bikes out there that people are riding along on, and they're just with a minor tweak, it stops the brakes rubbing, and then you can go so much faster and so much easier. And that kind of, oh, it feels like a new bike again moment. So I think that combined with the loan bike, the free loan bike, it's sort of like, well, I can't cycle because I haven't got a bike. Here's a free loan bike. Well, I can't cycle because I don't feel confident. Well, here's some free cycle training. And I do think making things free, especially initially, or very cheap, is important. I think to ask people to change their habits plus pay a lot of money, and it's almost like a gamble. You know, I'll spend 2 hours plus 30 quid and I might not even want to cycle. So I think having those freebies to bring people down and get your bikes out of the shed, have a look at it, and then you know, make sure that it's working right, and then really like have the opportunity to get on it. And I think basically once someone's been on a bike once and done one thing on a bike, it's that memory, or for some people the first time, oh wow, this is nice, I like this, you know. So it's that experience, it is personal experience, I think. So that's several eureka moments all in one, sorry. 1, 2, 3.
We have made some good partnerships, and I think that's important. We've had, I think that the Bike It officer has been really successful. In fact, I just have to mention a quick other eureka moment, which is when the Bike It officer organised a family cycle ride into town from one of our primary schools and a picnic, and this was last summer, and we had nearly 100 people. Some of them were children who'd only had their stabilisers off a few weeks before, and I just think, yeah, the children enjoyed it, but for the adults, some of the adults, it was such an eye-opener that they could cycle into town. It was only 2 or 3 miles with their children on the road. And those are the things, that's what I mean really about, it can be quite a small thing that makes an impact on people because, you know, they just had not thought that it was a possibility. So I think, you know, it's kind of starting where people are, I think, and don't ever assume that people's approach to cycling is going to be the same as yours is. And kind of understand what they're looking for.